When a man commits 43 years of his life to administration in local football, it's a story that needs to be listened to. Neil Kellett, or Ned, as he's affectionately known to many of his peers, has been at the helm for most of that time at his beloved Ashwood Football Club. A great club man, a league person, and our latest inductee into the SFNL Hall of Fame, this is the Neil Kellett story.
Ned's a character, always has been. He's just a person who gives so much time and effort to a football club. And I came from the country and he took me under his wing and helped me out and in so many ways on and off the football field. Yeah, just guides you and helps you and always puts the football club first.
Neil Kellett, Ned, thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
You've been a busy man over a long period of time, but I want to go back to the beginning. And in your case, that's the Jordanville Youth Club. As team manager, you've done 15s in 1972.
Correct.
What are your memories?
Well, a bloke by the name of Mick Sheridan asked me to help him out, just to help the kids out, because in the neighbourhood then there wasn't much around, so it was sort of run by the church a bit then.
Yeah.
So I just helped out and became team manager for under 14s. I think it was first, then it was 15s. And then it was 16s, and then the last year of 16s, the youth club had sort of amalgamated or had talks with Burwood Footy Club. Mm-hmm. And our under 17s the year before in 2015 went to Burwood,
yep.
Won a flag in under 17s, I think it was then from memory. And then I went up the following year.
Yeah, sure, to Burwood.
To Burwood,
yep.
Yes. And in talks with Jack Thompson, they were struggling for a secretary, so I became secretary in 1976. And we helped out the club there, seniors, and we had a couple of junior sides going then. And from then, we were there for a couple of years as secretary, and it was a very interesting time because I first went to Burwood, and Jack Thompson was president, God rest his soul now, and they used to have beer. That was it, nothing else. I've always been a spirit drinker. So I said to Jack, I think we need to have women in here and we need to have spirits and all of that. He said, oh, well, yeah, if you think so, okay, we'll do that. So hence the spirits come into it and then the wine, and then which was good because then the women would start back then.
Yep.
But we'd have to clean the rooms Saturday nights, because we didn't have carpet or anything in those days. It was just concrete, and
yep.
At the end of the night, all the boys would just throw the sawdust on the floor, on the concrete. Next day, somebody would have to go and sweep it up because the sawdust would soak up all the alcohol, the spilt alcohol of that, which were real rough days in those days. And then we used to have the umpires where our bar was. The umpires had to get changed behind us. And I can remember Johnny O'Connor, who umpired for a lot of years, a lot of years. Great guy. And he used to jump in, he'd get a beer on the way through, and it was a very close relationship then. So.
Footy was a different game in those days.
It was a totally different structure, yeah, totally different.
As a person, he's harsh but fair. As long as there's structure in his life, everything's right. So, lovely guy. Been a pleasure to work with.
So you became president at the Burwood Footy Club in 1980.
Yes, I did.
Getting pretty serious about administration by then,
yes, Yes, I got involved in administration through Jack Thompson. Mm-hmm. And the president gave it away, so I thought, yep, I'll go president. And then I find out that we are $13,000 in debt.
Right.
We'd made all these commitments to players and didn't have any money. And I thought, oh my God, Father, in 1979, that was
That's a lot of money.
Massive amount of money. In
fact, in 1979, if I can recall, that'd be more than a year's salary for most people.
Oh, it was horrendous. But lucky enough, we'd started running bingo.
Right.
So I started that up running bingo with a few of the guys because...
so you'd be calling that, I could see you doing that.
As a matter of fact, yeah, I was on the board.
Yeah.
Kelly's Eye, the number one.
Yeah.
Legs 11.
Two fat ladies.
Yeah, two fat ladies. And so I thought, oh, okay, yep, we'll get out of this. So we ran bingo for the year, and before the Southern Footy League tried to stop us, because I put the club into recess. Didn't disband it because we owed all this money.
Yeah, sure.
So we stopped for the year, and I spoke to everybody, to all the players, and spoke to the clubs they went to, and said that when we restart in 81, you know, I would hope you would just clear them straight back to Burwood again.
Yeah, sure.
So then the SESFL board at their time, in their wisdom, decided to send a letter to the bingo board saying, why is he still
Running bingo.
running bingo with nothing to do? And I was dragged before the bingo board, and I had a letter, but I'd spoken to legal advice, and that's why I put the club into recess, not disbanded or anything.
Sure.
And I explained all to them this was to pay everybody back we owed and all the players, and we got a clean bill of health, and we went on.
So the motivation was pure, no doubt about that.
Yes, the Ashwood Football Club is a merger of two clubs, and he was the main person that came across and connected everything together. He has done everything except for probably play a game. He has just been the rock the whole club's been built around for the last 30 years. You know, he just helps out in so many ways, and you know, he's just been the person, as I said, the club's been built around. His contribution financially and just time and effort is just second to none.
And so with that disbanding, then we start to build this move towards to Essex Heights,
Yeah, well,
and the Ashwood Footy Club.
that's correct. That started in '83. I was having a drink one day, and you'll find a lot of this through the thing. I was
It's
having
a common theme here.
Common
Yeah,
theme
yeah.
here. I was having a drink because we're a Burwood, and Burwood United Church was down the bottom of that ground. I don't know whether you know. We both shared that
Yeah.
each year, and one night I was talking to Jim Honey. He was down there, and he used to be the secretary of the Eastern Suburban Churches Football Association. And I was saying to him, you know, how we would really like to have a liquor licence and have our social rooms and all of that, which we'd never get in Burwood because it's a dry area then.
Yeah, yeah.
So he said to me, well, why don't you go up to speak to people at Essex Heights? I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, you've got seniors and no juniors. At that stage we had no juniors then. And then we've got juniors and no seniors. I thought, oh, that sounds like a good mix.
So marriage made in heaven.
Sounds like a marriage made in heaven. So I got Don Firth's phone number, and we started having talks. And what we did the first year, we went up there as Burwood and Essex Heights. We played sort of separately. We were still in Burwood,
but adjacent to each other.
all in the same room
Yep.
for that. And we went on there. Then we had the AGM at the end of the year. Oh, it's a lot of heartache between now and then to get there, but we got there eventually. And then when we had the AGM, and all the Burwood and Essex Heights people were there at the rooms then, the very small rooms that they were then. And we'd sort of settled on Burwood Heights being the name.
Yep.
And Don Firth, in his wisdom now, thank God, said, no, we're not accepting that, we want a new name. So I thought, oh, well, this AGM's not going anywhere here unless I put a halt in this. So I called a stop for 10 minutes, and I said, look, I want to talk to the Burwood people, and I said to them, this Burwood Heights is not going to go anywhere. We're still going to keep, they want to go to Ashwood. So I said the Ashwood part suits us. We're going to be called the Wooders. We're Burwood now, so they're losing everything. And Apple said, okay, fine, we'll go back.
So that's how it occurred.
That's how
And that was
the Ashwood,
1984?
that was end of 84, yes.
Yep,
we actually
okay.
became Ashwood Footy Club in 85.
So, okay, so the football club itself was born at that AGM in 84.
Yep.
Started playing as Ashwood in 85
Yes.
with you as the vice president.
I was vice president, yeah. Don Firth went president, and I just handled the senior part, and he handled the rest of the club. So we still had juniors at that stage.
Yep.
But I said to Don Firth, the reason why I wanted to come here, and that was part of our amalgamation, two things. We wanted to have our own liquor licence, and I wanted to build our own social room so we could operate in many years to come to generate those dollars and have good facilities for people to come.
So, the Ashwood Footy Club was born, and it's
Yes.
not long after that, as president in 1988, took over 88, 87,
It's just something like that, I think. I can't remember.
running the
88.
show, and the juniors start to fall away. The focus is genuinely on senior football.
Yes.
And sticking with that, they built new rooms in 1990. It was a lot of money spent in 1990 for the rooms as we currently see them
That's
at
correct.
Essex Heights Reserve.
Yes. Yep. We had to borrow some money because the council weren't going to go our way what we wanted to do. And fortunate enough, we had a couple of people that worked in a bank, and I won't mention their names. And so it cost $170,000. That was the price. So we had to borrow $100,000.
So in 1990, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money. $100,000. And in that $100,000, we had to make sure, because in our part of our share that we had to pay, we had to, first of all, sell it to the council because they weren't going to do it. And secondly, that in our part of our share that we had to make sure that we could cover the setting up the bar, tables, chairs, all the infrastructure that goes
Get
with
the whole
running,
thing working, yeah.
get it all in that figure.
Yep.
Which we did, and we got a bloke by the name of Bill Spaulding. He was a builder and he built the rooms. His son plays, well, both of his sons play with us.
Yep.
Hayden Spaulding's actually our runner last year in the seniors,
right? Okay.
and his little tacker now plays now under 10s, I think
Fantastic.
it is. So then we went, built the rooms. We got through the council and they were very good to us, and we borrowed the 100,000, and it went okay for a few years. But like all things, we had a bit of a discussion I had with the administration at that stage, and I think it was 92 or 3.
Yeah, so let's just a step forward there. The Eastern Suburbs Churches Football Association and the South East Suburban, there was a forming of a new league called the Southern Football League in 1992.
Correct.
And I note with interest that when they required people with good administrative skills, Ned Kellett walks away from his beloved Ashwood Footy Club and joins the board of the Southern Football League in 1994. What motivated that change?
Well, it was mainly to do because I wasn't happy the way Ashwood were heading.
Mm-hmm.
And I had several discussions with the administration that time, and they didn't seem too interested in listening to what I had to say. So I thought, well, I'll go and help the league. They need some help, and that's what we need in those days, good administration people on the board.
People actually get it.
To try and get it and you know, understand football and how it operates. And it is a complex structure to be involved in footy, especially, you know, nowadays. And so I went on the board, and it was a great learning experience, how seeing it from the other side. And I think the second year I was on the board, I was in charge of the umpires as the board member, and that was an experience and a half.
I've been to the footy with you, Ned.
A lot of the umpires didn't agree with it.
No, I was going to say, I've been to the footy with you, and I've seen sometimes with the umpires, I find it amazing that you were in charge of the umpires for a couple of years there.
It was, but it was interesting.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine it would be.
But it was great to be involved because you just meet so many people.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And this is where I probably met Ian Bennett.
Yes.
Darryl Pittman, what a legend Darryl Pittman is. He done so much work for our league. It's great. Building up the media that we have now today and the plans he set up and all that was great. Great people.
Yeah, lots
Great
of them.
to be involved.
And I see you wind up back at the Ashwood Footy Club again in '96. So things have changed.
And then
leave the post at the league. And
well, I'm heading back to them because Friday nights I always just go up there and have a drink.
Yep.
As it keeps alluding that drinking all the time.
Yeah, there's a pattern.
So I have a drink and I thought things aren't travelling too well here. And then I thought, oh well, okay. I'm trying to keep out of it. I'm still on the board at this stage.
Yeah.
And so it comes to the AGM and I hear all the problems. I get to the rooms and the phone's cut off. I thought, oh, this is no good. And the president's sitting there by himself. All of a sudden we're $19,000 in debt. I thought, oh, that's no good. And somebody says, oh, well, Neil, do you want to run? I said, no, I don't want to run, but what I will do is I'll become social secretary.
Right.
So I said at the AGM that there's conditions that being social secretary is that I will be in control of the bar, I will be in control of the money, I will be in control of the ordering and all that. So it was passed. Bang. Then we had another committee meeting, then the then president didn't front. Then I started to hear a few whispers from the other committee people that have you heard about this debt and have you heard about that debt?
So there was more.
And I said to what are you talking about? What's these debts? And then within 3 weeks it had jumped from $19,000 to $47,000. We owed the league $20,000. We owed the council $19,000. We were being sued by Club Warehouse. We were being sued by Coca-Cola.
So it was pretty messy,
yep,
and that sort of prompted you to take over as president.
Yes.
You had no choice.
Yep.
1996.
Back in, I think he's had 4 stints as president at the footy club. Back in '96 was probably his most memorable one. We were in debt, came back in '96, brought a lot of players in, got good committee, good people around him, got us out of debt. We won our first Southern Football League back then premiership. So it was a great year, so very nice.
Can we skip forward? 2001, well and truly entrenched now, running things fairly smoothly.
Yep.
A senior and a reserve grade flag for the Ashwood Footy Club.
Great effort, great effort.
Yep.
Paul Closey, great coach.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people know Paul Closey from Port Melbourne. His father's still there helping us now as a trainer, Mick Closey.
And 2001, that would have been Division
2.
2, yes.
Division 2, we won the flag.
Way back into Division 1.
To Division 1. It's the first time we'd been in Division 1 since
okay.
Burwood days.
Yeah, yeah. As Ashwood?
As Ashwood. So, yep, we went there, and once again, Division 1 is a very high standard.
It is. Now, what are the highlights from that Division 2 flag? What are your memories of that day? Seniors and reserves. It was a clean sweep.
Oh, it was a clean sweep, yeah. Well, receiving the medallion I thought was a great being president. I didn't know presidents receive medallions. Yeah. Well, actually I do, because we got it in 96.
Yeah.
But it was a great accolade, but not so much for me, for the people around the committee and all the workers that have helped so much, Paul Closey especially, and all the support staff that they don't get much gratitude for, but they're a big part of the organisation. President only leads the ship. If he hasn't got the people around him, then it's very hard.
It's interesting you talk about those sort of people. You're talking about Closey and Elliott and Kennedy with the premiership.
Yes.
Lockman later on.
Michael Lockman as the coach, yes.
Yeah, so there are names there that just keep filtering through. This is about having the right people around you.
Yes.
Too. Yeah, okay. So,
yep.
2005, I think it is, Ashwood Football Club and Ashwood Cricket Club, Junior Football Club, come together and form the Ashwood Sports Club, which is a 365-day-a-year sporting organisation.
It shuts for 2 weeks in December. That's a
you get a
holiday time.
Yeah, okay. And you're basically running the lot?
Well, not at the start.
Okay.
But I was vice president at that stage because I needed a break, so I had a couple of years off. And at that stage, Warren Humphries was involved in part of the... I was doing the background work, constitution, dealing with the cricket and all that, and he was the president. So we formed the Ashwood Sports Club in 2006, and I took over as president. So then we started again.
Okay. So, president of the Ashland Sports Club, 12 months of the year, we're talking about the mid-2000s now, getting up to 2010, juniors and also junior cricket. This is a genuine sporting organisation.
It became a genuine sporting club. I think it was about 2008-9, I can't remember when it was, and I was talking to Timmy Elliott, who was he was our captain in the 1996 flag, and his young boys there now, which is, a lot of these senior players with kids in the area now are all starting to come back, which is great part of our structure now.
Good, Ned, and people bring their kids back,
yes,
to it, which is what it's about.
Well, at the moment now we've got Paul Hattersley with his, Richard Lovelace with his people there, Tim Elliott with his people there, John Paul Lefebvre with his people there, Hayden Spalding with his kids there. I mean, there's 5 of those senior players back from those days that are now got all the kids playing at Ashwood,
which is new light on father-son,
which is great.
Yeah. So 2013, stood down as the leader of the organisation, still loitering around in the background, and I say I just don't do anything now. This is what, you'd say to me, but I'm going to put it to you that you're a man of enormous influence around there still. You've got the council of the people running the football club based on your experiences there.
Well, I'd like to think that. They may not say that, but I'd like to think that. I mean, I try and help out the best I can, and we do come to loggerheads at different things, and people don't see things the way I see them.
It's Ned's way or the highway.
But, I'm a firm believer if you cross the I's and dot the T's and do it right the first time, then you don't have to go back over it.
Detail.
There's no shortcut. You've got to do the details. You've got to do the hard work. And the best part about the hard work was the best administrator I ever had for the last 10 years was John Paul Lefebvre.
Okay.
And is a very great friend to mine still to this day. He's the best administrator going.
Terrific fellow too.
Great guy.
Really good guy.
Actually, great guy.
Yeah.
So is Paul Hattersley and Warren Humphries, which is doing a great job now, and the club is actually going from leaps and bounds.
Yeah, which is good.
It's great that I was a part of that to set it up, and they've carried it through, but we did the groundwork first, and they're getting the rewards, which is great, and that's what a club's all about.
You're a massive part of it, Ned. Life member of the Burwood Footy Club, the Ashwood Footy Club, and the SFNL. They're pretty important accolades.
Yes.
Where do they sit?
Right under the flags.
Okay.
They are very high esteem to win them, and I am very humbled by all of the awards that I receive, because I just think I'm a run-of-the-mill bloke, likes a drink, and I like to try and help out people and I mean, when you're involved in football and community clubs, you do have a lot of outside issues that do affect you with the community and people and young adults, which is sometimes hard to handle, and the issues they have and all of that, but it is just great to be involved in all of that, and if you can try and help them, and I've helped a lot along the way, if you can help them then to get there, to see them as they grow to adults, I mean, it's just a thank you in itself. It's given to you freely, and they're the best things.
So a lifetime of service to football, local football administration, and some 2,000 bottles of
Bacardi, yes, I've had.
Poison of choice.
Yeah, I've had a few drinks, as you're aware, and Daryl Pittman will tell you, and Benny, and all those people. I did like a drink. I mean, I've slowed down a bit now, but I mean, it was that sort of environment.
Oh, it's nice and relaxed.
And
that's what it's all
relaxed.
about.
You always used to have that. So I mean,
2,000 in one weekend would be bad, but 2,000 over 40 years.
40 years.
40,
I mean,
50 years.
it's a great effort.
Absolutely unquestionable. He's what he's done for our football club, as I said, but he's also challenged the league in many issues as well, which has been really important to him as well. He knows everyone from every football club. They speak about him. He's been honoured and recognised from other football clubs as well, which is a great testament to his. But this is just absolutely unquestionably deserving as well. So
Very deserving. What he's given to the local football community over 40 years has been exceptional. He's a single man who they always have a bit more time than us married men, but he's the heart and soul of Ashwood. He just loves the place.
So, Ned Kellett, induction into the SFNL Hall of Fame, what does that mean to you?
It's very humbling, and when I received the letter and I sat down and thought about it for 2 days, I thought, my God, Father, how did I ever get to be awarded this? It is so humbling and so gratifying by the league to bestow this on me. I'm just overawed by it.
Yeah, terrific.
Overawed by it, and I am just so humbled to receive it.
Very richly deserved, and you've thanked the people along the way. It's been a terrific journey. Look forward to seeing you at the footy.
Yes.
Congratulations on induction into the Hall of Fame. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.